connecting to. Cool. Okay. So welcome everyone to the ideation workshop. So what I've done here is broken this into a few sections. The first section is themes and challenges. Why I'm going through this very briefly is because no matter what answer we put, we need to first understand the question, right? So first of all, these are the three themes for the hackathon: predictive analysis, audio-visual analysis, and prescriptive analysis. They're sort of categories of the that will be assessing you on, or you can go into for the challenges we gave on welcome night. By the way, this is an open session, so if you have questions, just feel free to on the themes, on the challenges, just feel free to call out. So these are the themes. No questions, I'll move on. All right, I'll move on. So these are the three challenges. And I'm sure by this point, hopefully you would have all gone through the challenges. If not, there's PDF documents of these challenges online in buildwithai.com in the resources section under challenges, which details each and every one of those challenges. What I'm going to go through is just brief background on what these challenges are. So first of all, digital learning and education. So this one is to do with the challenges that's been brought out by, I mean, even more so with COVID, now that a lot of people are doing distant learning and learning through education, learning online, and tackling some of those challenges related to education and analyzing it. So that's the first one. No questions. Second one, using AI to identify actors. So this one is an interesting one with a very distinct input and output, in that the input is audio files and the output is number of people in the audio file. So this one is, I probably wouldn't go into this in this session much, because it's very much a, you have a defined input, you have a defined output. See how well you can do it. So this one is just, you're given a bunch of audio files and you need to work out how many people is speaking in this audio file. Finally, the third one is zero hunger, zero waste. This is for this is really about how to reduce hunger, how to reduce food waste. Food waste is a big problem. We waste up to 30% of globally produced food goes to waste, and it's poorly managed. It doesn't go to people that need the food, and also there's sustainability issues with waste being thrown out and greenhouse gases. So those are the themes, those are the challenges, and now to put the themes and challenges together. In digital learning and education, all themes would apply. So you can use any of these, predictive, audio, or prescriptive, to tackle this problem. For point 2, since it's already an input-output, it's very clear you can only use the audio analysis tool to work on this. So for the purpose of this presentation, I'm not going to cover point 2, I'm just going to cover point 1 and point 3. And point 3, we can actually go through and use all or any of the themes that are covered here in the section. Cool. Any questions so far? No? Okay, moving on. I am going to go through, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through challenge 1 and challenge 2. And I'm going to list out some examples, and at the same time, I will open up to the group, so to make sure you guys are listening to the group, for each one of you to come up with a potential idea or thought around it. Okay, each and one of you, each and every one of you. So challenge one is to do with digital learning. Okay. These are the descriptions of the challenge, and there is no specific requirements in terms of how it should be done. In terms of solutions, it's quite open. Here we have a bunch of potential ideas that comes out of it. For example, higher education and career recommendations. So people come online. They're confused what to do, right? There's so many courses, so many degrees. What do I do? How do I achieve the career I want? Mental health, that especially with virtual, you don't get that personal connection with people. How do you resolve that? A lot of students, they get bored. They get because they're not. It's just like me. Sometimes when I study, I have to go to the library. Otherwise, I can't study. I just stay in front of my computer and surf social media. Adaptive learning curriculums. This is an interesting one. So this is to do with. This would be based off a problem around. Nowadays, we're training all the new kids to be robots in a supply chain factory with everyone with the same knowledge and learning at the same speed. How do you cater for people's personal interests and speeds? Class availability, scheduling, compliance with COVID guidelines. So those are some examples for challenge one. And for challenge two, for challenge three, we're skipping challenge two. For challenge three, so this is a very common problem that I'm sure a lot of you, myself included, is very passionate about, and I know SM Riyadh is also. So this one is to do with the 7.3 million tons of food lost and wasted. You're a nonprofit organization. How do you tackle some of the problems? This is a slightly more tricky one in that the first thing you need to do is probably, unless if you're super in the know about NGOs, you also need to do a little bit more research on some of the challenges they may have. Note, it can also be indirect challenges they have, like how do we reduce food wastage for everyone in the community? So following on with this one, some of the ideas that that it could be NGOs. Sometimes they get a lot of food. Like I remember watching a video in US where some of the non-for-profit food organizations, they get twice as much food as the people in that region can take. And what do? They can't ship it to another to South Africa or to somewhere else where they're in dire need of food, because by that time most of the food only has a shelf life of a few days. So really reducing the unwanted donations and increasing the wanted donations. Point two, getting food where it's needed. That's also very important. Reduce transport wastage, right? There's heaps of, if you look at the supply chain, there's a bunch of food that's wasted at the farm. And then there's also a bunch that's actually gone bad during transportation. Transportation can be just from the farm to the farmer's market, or it can be from the farm to the warehouse to be packaged, shipped to another country, to go to the truck and go to a warehouse and finally go to retail. It is a very long journey, and some of the food actually do get wasted. How to better manage waste, right? Not only in the NGOs but also in the community. A lot of food, they just get piled in garbage dumps, and as they rot, they give out a lot of methane gas. So much so that if you take all of the sort of gas that's contributed with wasted food, it's second in the list of sort of highest greenhouse contribution. And if you call it a country, it's second on the list of countries with the highest amount of sort of negative greenhouse gases to the atmosphere. So those are some examples of ideas. And how should I do this? Should I get all of you guys to think of ideas now or later? All right, we'll do it later. We'll do it right after I go through and should I do it now? Okay, let's do it now. Let's do it now. And then after that, we'll go over some of the things to come up with ideas. And maybe you guys might be spot on, or maybe you're like, oh, we're close, but a little bit. So I'll stop sharing. Oh, wow, so many people. Hi, everyone, and welcome. So what we'll do now is we'll go around the room purely on ideas 2, 1, and 3, because idea 2 is input output, and just 30-second share of maybe some ideas that you're already thinking about, or maybe I inspired you to think of something in particular. So let's go around the room. 30-minute share. SM Riyadh, would you like to go first? And
actually, yes, I'm also introducing one of my team member here, Tarek. He's actually one of the main guy here. So let's.
Hello everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
You're passing the you're passing the responsibility, is it?
No, actually we are working with the team, and actually he's the main idea maker here, and I'm also helping them in the deployments and the technical things also.
Okay.
So we have some distributed tasks of different team members. So
okay, let's do this. You share something, 10 to 30 seconds, and then he shares something.
Okay.
And
no
both
problem.
of you guys combined will have an even better idea, right?
Okay, no problem. So the idea actually we are thinking right now, actually how we maximize the productivity, production, and how we reduce the wastage and cost in our the problems like transportation, distribution systems, and courier systems, like all of the things. And also we're trying to
okay, great. 10 seconds. 10 seconds already. 15 seconds already. Okay, so a way to optimize production. Okay, that's great. Tariq, I'm going to come back to you.
Yeah. The main basic thing is that we are thinking of trying to make an ecosystem that will be AI driven, or every part of that ecosystem we can have some AI input output or some intelligence systems. So we are thinking of making that kind of ecosystem to the root level, where we can found the production of the crops and then the waste management system that we can utilize that.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Just
all
stay
right.
with us. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Afan? Afan?
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's 10 seconds done, I think. So
cool.
that 10-second restrictions also.
All good. Okay. We'll move on to Alif.
Yeah.
Alif.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, 10 seconds idea sharing. Just anything on your mind.
Actually, my team had some idea with them about mental health. We try to focus on an autism people, help them to learn in digital form. So about that, we create an AI to give them a recommendation of learning method to them based on their autism kind, like that.
Oh, wow, autism.
What do you think about it?
Okay, interesting. Lynn?
Hello. I'm thinking of having a systems that can be integrated into online learning to kind of recognize students' interactions with the lessons. And like the students, like the teacher can see with the help of AI how they are interacting or whether they are like concentrating on the lessons or not. And there's gonna be some built-in function from the students' perspective to have them like engage with the lessons.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We need to make sure the student is not talking in class and paying attention.
Yeah, like because I used to be a teacher teaching online, and it's really hard to engage students, especially the small kids, to be attentive.
Cool. Awesome. Prasanta? Prasanta? Kundu? Prasanta? All right. Muhammad? Said?
Yes, through your problem stated, I will also look forward to the mental health and the other affecting the education of the student. So it might be to ideate something new in our particular task.
Great. Okay. Rajiv? Rajiv Hussain? Pavel? Rajiv Pavel? All right, moving on.
Hello.
Oh, yes, okay.
Oh, I'm here. I'm actually a team member of SM Riyadh, and I am very new here.
Yep.
And I am learning how things are working actually. And
Yeah, great.
I will try to understand an NGO that is a collaboration between Grameen Bank and Danone. They are working on food supply for nutritious food for rural people.
Yeah.
So I will think on it how AI can help them.
Food and nutrition. That's a good one.
Okay.
How can you eat a little bit but have energy for the whole day? Yeah, that's interesting. Gio?
Hey, Jack.
Hello. Even though you're a mentor, you still have to think of a random idea.
Yeah, no, in the meantime, I'm just mentoring 2 teams at this point of time. And there are a couple of mentors as well. As a lead mentor, I have to, ask for the status and all the stuff, which is happening parallelly. But, I'm happy to help these 2 teams. And I think Tarek is one team, and another team, I think they're not present here. So whatever the idea which I'm getting in my mind, I'm, directly pinging them. just think of all this aspect, because they all are new to this hackathon. So maybe it will be helpful for their brainstorming. So that is how we can make it, because everyone's goal is to build a product which will be helpful for the social cause, right? So
definitely.
that is how I'm assisting in every perspective.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks. Gio's been around for quite a while as well. Really dedicating his time to assisting with the different teams throughout a number of our hackathon. Thanks, Gio.
Yeah, I want to also thank Luis and Jyotirmoy for mentoring our team. They are kind of so helpful since the starting of these sessions. So thank you, Jason, and thank you, Jyotirmoy, too.
Wow.
Our team crocodile tears. Yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Kelaboga? You have to forgive me if I don't pronounce it correctly. Kelaboga? Okay, Charles?
Hi, I'm here.
Hello.
What's up?
Yeah, cool. 10 seconds, just a random idea.
Random
One
idea
of the
for
challenges.
the digital education?
Oh, you're digital. Okay, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
I guess if you're trying to teach and mentor young children or kids, it should be more game-based. For every
Okay.
game
Oh,
that you build,
yeah.
it has to have a meaning or what are the objectives that you want to achieve behind of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great one. Game-based learning. All right. Sharifu Alam. Sharifu Alam. Shah.
Yeah, Shariful Alam is a team member of ours, so I think there are
Okay.
some network
No.
issue in its end. So
No, all right.
yeah,
Shahi Al Shahi Al Ahmed.
Yeah, it's pronounced as Shahir Ahmed.
Okay. Thanks, Nick. Shahi Ahmed. All right. Dawood Hussain. Dawood. All right. Cool. So let's come back to it. So we have 25 minutes left.
Yes. How can I help you?
Oh yes.
Sorry,
10
I
seconds.
just joined the session.
Oh good. Ideation session, just 10 seconds on a challenge that you, just a random idea on a challenge that you're thinking of.
Yes, I don't know. I know a little bit by Python, but the idea is helping farmers by robotics with AI, build with AI. Python will build AI. Like robot, something like that will help to seed the farm and help to give the waters, something that like type of robot.
Okay.
I hope you got the idea.
Okay, cool. That sounds really cool. Some kind of robot that can assist with things. I'm super into robots. I'm looking forward. All right, let's let me go back to share my screen, and we'll go to the second half of the exercise. So hopefully that was good. That was interesting. Just to get the ideation juice flowing around the series of different ideas that that there's things around ecosystems for food. There's things around robotics. There's things around mental health, special education, kids' attention, so on and so on. Whole heap of ideas. All right, moving on to ideation. So what are the 3 steps of ideation? So what I've done is I've summed up 3 steps in regards to ideation. And there's also a step 0 or a intro step. After you form the team, the first thing you need to understand is and know is what is the team good at, and what is the team interested in. So based on those facts, you can select. You could potentially select the challenge that you want to do, because say for example you had a team with half of the people who's all into food science or something, then the challenge, if you're to do a challenge on say education, it will have to be a challenge. It may be more of a challenge related to education for food science, or if you have to do something for say challenge 3, which is in regards to food wastage and hunger, it may be something to do with like one of the candidates mentioned, nutrition health, because that's very tied to food science. So before you start, know your team, know what they like, know what their strengths are and their interests are, because that would because there's no point going out doing a solution without the right team. Just like if you were to build a you had a team full of business people, and you wanted to build this super high-tech product, then that may or may not work, because most of the business people will look at all the code and go, wow, that's amazing. And that's it. All right, so that is step number 0. So that is a must. And after that, after you've decided on the challenge you need to do, it is very important to do your research, identify the persona, and step into the shoes. So this first bit is actually coming up with the understanding who has the problem and what and how they're facing the particular problem. So in terms of, say, challenge 1, in terms of something that Lynn shared, one of the personas for the system would actually be the kindergarten teachers or primary school teachers, or what I think Charles shared. It would be on education 1. It would be sort of teachers teaching special disability kids, such and such. So in order to actually understand the problem, it's really important to understand things from the other person's point of view, and really think about things in the other person's point of view. If you don't understand their point of view, then there's a good chance that you may be off the mark. So that's the first thing about coming up with a problem. Really understand who is actually having the problem. Point 2 is, once you know who it is, live their life. For example, a teacher goes to school. She has so many classes, deal with kids, such and such. What are the key pain points with that? So point 1, persona, who it is. Point 2, pain points. What is the problem or problems they're having? And point number 3 is then coming up with the solution to the problem. I can talk all day about these, but this is a good summary. Point 3, diverge and converge on the solution, is really about, hey, we've had a person. This person has 10 this person has 10 problems, and we're going to isolate it down to 1. And then from this one problem, we can come up and brainstorm, say 10 solutions, right? When you're brainstorming, just don't put restrictions on, oh, this is this is that, but just brainstorm, write anything you can. You can use Miro. Miro is a good tool for brainstorming online and collaborating online. All the problems you can think of for this, all the solutions you can think of for this particular problem. And then finally, after you diverge, coming up with 10 solutions, then you converge, where you actually try to narrow down on a solution that works. And that is important, converging, because, for example, we need to take a lot of limitations into account. Maybe one of the hackathon solutions is to build a spaceship and go to the moon. But that's not going to happen in the duration of the hackathon. Nor maybe would we have enough capability or the budget to build such a thing in such a short time. So then really cutting down on some of the solutions to something that you can build within the limited time in the hackathon with the resources and team you have. Also save a little bit of time for presentation at the end, because there's no point building something amazing, but then not being able to present it. So timing is a very key point in this. Any points, any questions at the moment? No? Okay, maybe on.
So
Yeah.
one question is that making up the prototype of that ideation or that like that is not like fully dependent on the full implementation, right? If the idea is kind of like generalized and more described in the tech stacks, like according to tech stacks. So it would be like, it would be good for this
Yeah.
ideation.
Yes. The ideation is not about building the prototype. The prototype is something that you would come up, or the MVP is something that you would come up, whether you want it to be a functional MVP or just a wireframe, is something that you would come up after you have decided on what is the solution I'm going to go about. And then with that solution in mind, then you want to refine it down further with your knowledge of the persona. And that's where probably UI, UX and all that would potentially come in as well. But without actually narrowing down on the solution, it's very difficult to go into concrete. Let's say, for example, tackling transportation for food, right? Like one solution may be to really have a very good logistics system, right? And then you would build a plan around that. And another one could be actually to move the market closer to where the farm is. They're two different solutions. So the MVPs for those would be very different as well. And obviously when I say solution, it's maybe a slightly high level. There can be a little bit of change, but not too much. And really, ideation solution is something that you want to really confirm and get done today, because after today, there would be Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, there'll be another few days, and you would really want to spend the last day on preparation, pitching and all that, so there's no rush. And so you only have 2 days to prototype the thing, or at least to show us something that is cool and works.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, no worries. All right, moving on. Cool. So what I'm gonna do is, we only have 15 minutes, so I don't think I'm gonna do these. We can either do these exercises, or we can just have a lesson learned and sharing session. Which ones do you prefer? Either we do we go through exercises just on possible personas we can have, what are the points and solutions, or we can just have we can just go around the room and everyone can just share some of their lessons around, and also I can share some of the lessons around ideation and brainstorming and everything else. Okay, let's do this. If you want the exercises, put your okay, if you want the sharing, put a thumbs up. You can go to reactions and put a thumb up. If you want the exercises, yeah, okay. Okay, so 3 people want sharing. Okay, and if you want the exercises, put a thumbs up now. or put a clap. Put a clap. What is this? Okay, I'm really confused which one people want now. Okay.
Can we get the both?
Yeah, we can get both. Hopefully we'll have enough time to go through both. So let's go through how am I going to run that? Let's go through challenge 1, and then after that we'll go to challenge 3. So challenge 1, let's work on I think it helps to actually work on an example, and then otherwise we'll just get confused. Lynn, with your permission, can I take the example you had as an example and we can work on it as challenge 1?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, great. So so Lynn had an idea, and this idea is about how do we actually, Lynn, I'll let you I'll let you speak. I think you'd be much better at it than me.
All right, thank you. So my example was young students, especially the one in primary schools, find it really hard to focus with online learning. And also the teachers have like challenges engaging with them in the lesson.
Great. So in here, in this particular problem alone, there is actually quite a few personas, right? So the problem of engagement in class. What are the personas here? Just call out if you know. What are the key personas here? Persona is someone that is kind of like a stakeholder to the problem, and they would be directly or closely directly impacted by this problem and feels the pain of this problem.
I would say the students, the teachers, and possibly the parents.
Okay, great. Yep. Students, teachers, and parents. Good one. And anyone else have any other thoughts aside from students, teachers, and parents? No. Okay. Oh, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. Students, teachers, and parents. And so there's 3 different personas. Which persona do you want to tackle first? Or which persona is the key focus? This is very important because it's very difficult to tackle a product from multiple personas point of view. You want to start from one persona. And that would then define your UI, UX, and everything else. Is it the student where you try and understand the life of the student, or is it the parent? They're super busy every day. They don't have a lot of time. They come back home and they try to get their students on the computer to learn. They're not learning. They're feeling very distracted. So that's one persona of the parent. If it's the student, say for example, they're feeling very demotivated. They don't like staring at the computer screen all day long. They want to play with their friends. Whatever the teacher is saying is boring, such and such, right? That's sort of the persona from the student's perspective. And maybe a solution or a pain point for that is lack of, or is it really from a teacher's perspective where teachers need to teach like so many kids a day, extremely exhausted coming to school, and they have to mark a lot of homework, was staying up late, came to school, prepared the teaching materials, tried to teach. All the students are are not interested, and he's trying, and the teacher's trying to like gauge everyone's attention, and then this class of 20, so which persona? I think then from your perspective, it would be from the teacher's perspective, because you're trying to understand from the teacher's perspective, are the students engaged in my class or not? So that's a, say that would be an example. So it's important to understand the life of the teacher and really be in their shoes. So we covered persona. Let's cover, what's another one? Persona, pain points. All right, so let's go to Tariq on challenge 3 in regards to pain points. Okay, so do you want to, so I remember your problem is, first of all, do you know who is your persona? It'll be the farmers or the
No, the persona would be like the NGO or the middle organization that would help to make a bridge between the farmers and the NGOs.
Okay, okay. And what's the problem?
Yeah, the problem is to like go to the root of the production systems and bring every steps to the digitalization part and giving them intelligence to have the data and read the predictions from the historical data. And after that, if we control the productions of the food, then we can control the wastage of the food.
Right.
And if there would be wastage, then we have to think about like another part of the wastage control system, which
Got-
could be done. We
got it.
can reproduce things from the waste materials, or if you think like a food, it is not
Sorry,
completely.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
cut you off there with the limited time, but
Okay,
I got
no
your
problem.
problem.
Yeah.
So your problem, I think even when you say NGOs, you may need to go into more detail about what kind of NGO, and actually go through some examples. So it seems like
Yeah, seems like the NGO that is BRAC. BRAC is an NGO that is a worldwide NGO, and it is in Bangladesh, and it helps the rural people to like mitigate their financial and social expenses. So I think
Right.
this food or waste reduces systems would be more
Right.
familiar or
So-
more rely upon this thing. And we have experts from BRAC, so I think we can like have a great idea after discussion.
oh, awesome.
SM Riyad is a ex-employee of BRAC, so I think he can get a better idea after a group discussion
Great.
or brainstorming session.
Great, that's excellent. So that's your persona, right? That's like you already have someone that's on the ground, that knows what's going on, and they have all the pain points. So really through those pain points, like one of the problems is there's massive food wastage in the whole production line, but they don't know where it is. And that and also quantify that. What does that mean? Is it costing them like $1 out of $1 million, and that's like nothing? Or is it costing them like $2 million out of $10 million? Wow, that's like 20%. It is a big problem. And then really from that, brainstorm and solve for it. Cool. What I'm gonna do is just, yeah, anyone else have any particular problems, voice out, and I'll cover that, and then I'll go into the some sharing sessions. No? Okay. Cool. All right, let's go into sharing sessions then. In the 4 minutes I have. Okay.
It's gonna be a speed sharing.
Yes. How fast can you speak? Actually, yeah. Okay. Cool. So I'm going to share, and also anyone else, feel free to share if you have thoughts. So for me, I've done a lot of hackathons and won a lot of hackathons. That's why I'm interested in hackathons. One of the key things with ideation and problem solving is depending on that, there's no perfect solution. And there is also a lot of solutions. One key thing is you need to make sure that you have the problem really, really narrowed down and the solution really, really narrowed down. So because sometimes, for example, solving world hunger as a general problem, there would be hundreds and hundreds of solutions to it. And if you don't make your problem tailored to, for example, how do we reduce food wastage in the food production supply chain, or even further, how do we reduce food wastage in the harvesting process of in the farms, right? The narrower you can make the problem, the better it is to come up with a solution for. Otherwise, you'll get lost in the solutioning because the problem is so broad. How do we achieve world peace, or how do we go to Mars? It's a big problem, and then at the same time, you really would need to break that problem down into a very specific problem, such that you can come up with a solution for. So that's one. Also, I'm not sure if any of you have heard the vitamin versus medicine analogy. A problem can either be a vitamin or medicine. This is important because, for example, there is a shortage of say for example, there's a shortage of lamb in the market, right? That is a huge problem. But then based on who we're talking to, for example, the burger shop that does both chicken and lamb burgers, if there's a shortage of lamb, it's okay. They'll just use chicken. And so that problem for that particular persona may not be as, may just be a vitamin. They can either have it or they may not really need to have it. Whereas if we're talking about a burger shop that only does, say, lamb burgers, that's their specialty, and that's where, say, 80% of their customers go, and they run out of lamb, right? Lamb burger shop. Then this problem to them is problem and solution to them would actually be a medicine, because without it, their business will go bankrupt. So they're prepared to pay big dollars for it, whereas the other one may not really need to. Validation is also important, but maybe we don't, depending on what the problem is, maybe we may or may not have time. If you have, say, someone that's already in the industry, that helps because they already know in context what that problem is. Or otherwise, some of the quick validation methods that I could suggest is maybe create a simple Google form and just go out and go on Facebook and go, hey, who's in this particular place? Or if it's for general people, do you have a particular problem? A real situation in my case, 2 years ago, I was trying to do a business on food wastage, actually, and I wanted to know whether how to reduce food, and so I thought of this really cool app where people can buy food online and then pick it up, or maybe I thought it was a matter of pricing, or I can find cheaper food that's more sustainable and they can buy it. But then I interviewed 100 people. Now you don't have to interview 100 people due to limited time. And then I found out it wasn't actually the case. It was actually because it was actually a matter of convenience. So that meant the persona, the problem, but the solution didn't actually fit the problem. I think that's all. That's all I have to cover. Any thoughts, feedbacks? I hope this session was useful. Key steps for ideation: work out the persona, the pain points, diverge and converge. Some notes: vitamin, medicine, validate problem, validate solution. Communication is key within your team. Cool. Any thoughts, feedbacks? No, all good. All right. Well,
it was really
go out
useful.
there and
It was really useful tips. Thanks.
okay.
Thanks very much. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, and thanks everyone for coming on. My name is Jack Shi, and I'll be available on the Ask the Organizer channel, or you can reach out, direct message me directly if you have any questions around around ideation. Thank you.